On my last video, I talked about why we should be using the technology that is now part of the world in which kids live. We talked about the social media revolution, which has revolutionized the way that information is transferred and shared, and that now people are not so much consumers of media, but producers of media. We also talked about how people tend to prohibit the use of technology in the classroom instead of embracing it, and that those things come mostly from fear, lack of understanding and education about how to use it, fear of not being able to have the practical means and the knowledge to apply it, and also economical reasons. But we also talked about the reasons why those reasons are not good enough and how you can solve those problems. We talked about the need to model the culture of learning and become leaders of the learning journey, also in modeling education, and that we need to tell them that it's okay not to be our best and that we need to be learning. And so that's not a good reason not to do it. That we should, as teachers, model the learning if we're scared of using technology. And that it should be okay for us not to be the center of the resources, but allow them to look for more resources out there in the web, which is full of information, because ultimately we can't know everything. So we need to teach them how to use the tools they're going to be using throughout their lives in the 21st century, how to sift through all the information that's out there and actually find the right information. So if we want to be educators, we actually have to incorporate the technology and teach them how to use it and how to find the information within that technology. We also need to use the tools that they're going to be used to if they want to be leaders in the world. America's fallen behind on the use of critical thinking, inquiry, and creativity, and we are not really preparing kids for the jobs of the future. And the job market is already saturated with people that don't have the skills to deal with the demands that the jobs now have. The technology demands, the social networking, the understanding of social and technology uses both personally and in digital universe. We are falling behind in jobs of the future, such as engineering and science, which require math and science. Education has shown that we are far behind the leaders of the U.S., of being the leaders in terms of points. A recent study has shown that the United States has qualified much lower than all these countries you see in the screen. And that other countries, especially Asiatic countries, are leading their fold. But I also like to use Finland as an example, because they have recently shot up to the top because of the changes they made to the education system. And maybe we should start mocking what they're doing, what these countries are doing, incentivizing technology, critical thinking, active learning, and an environment that lets the kids discover their information and work hard in order to show that they have learned. We need to create creative thinkers which actually incorporate technology in the world. In the previous video I mentioned that China will soon be the leading English-speaking country in the world. They already have more honor students living in the country than there is people living in the US. How about that? And then you have places like Japan and Finland and Taiwan and all of other places which are leading the world in discoveries in technology and math. And when I went to school for science, you look around you and you see the market saturated with people from those countries, which are now coming to our country to steal the jobs that we don't have people to fill, because we don't have people prepared to be scientists and engineers working at that kind of level. And so we have to outsource, because we don't find that. And also, we finished the last video talking about technology, and that it's not necessarily expensive to buy it. That with an iPad, it does cost money, but you can buy it in bulk and it'll be a lot cheaper. You can load up all the textbooks of the whole school in one iPad and save them a lot of money that way. And also, tools that the kids already have, like smartphones and cell phones and video gaming systems. And computers. Everybody pretty much has a computer at home, can be used to foster the use of technology in the classroom. It is not, you'll be surprised, it's not that expensive to buy the technology for your classroom. And once you start using it, it actually pays off. So it's worth doing it. And it has so many uses. Look at the iPad and how many things you can do with just one device. And so for all these reasons, we need to continue to use technology in the classroom. Please review the other video if you wish. Now, what has been done in a traditional classroom to revamp or to increase the use of technology? Some things that people have been doing is recording lectures with things like recording devices or video recording devices, and some people even telecast these lectures live so that people in all over the world can listen to the lectures. So we have the virtual classrooms starting, and you also have things like virtual school where the teachers are at home and the students are at home, and they're all learning in this virtual environment with virtual labs and demonstrations, using tools like Ustream and YouTube and Google Docs to share information across the web, and basically doing a virtual classroom. You also have note-taking, no longer the way it used to be. Now you see here a college class nowadays, most people have computers to take notes, and you have digital software that translates what the teacher says straight into a text, so that you don't even need to copy things down. And also teachers tend to provide the notes ahead of time, and it allows the kids to just add to the notes. Also, if you have a Google Doc thing running, the notes that one kid write down, everybody sees at the same time. So that means you have a whole group of 200 kids working together to take notes, and before you know it, you have this massive note or Google Doc. This is all things people have been using right now. Also, the idea of having books virtually, but no longer in paper. E-books and e-book readers are slowly substituting the use of textbooks in the classroom. You also have things like presentations, which are mainstream now. Use of media software such as video and audio and actual PowerPoint or Prezi to present the material in a way that's more engaging than the old style write on a chalkboard kind of thing, even though I personally still like that a lot. You have satellite classrooms. One teacher is teaching and several classrooms are all watching all at the same time. And then it multiplies the dissemination of information. You also have things like I said, Google Docs, which you can use to share information capture and transmission across the web. And then the other tools we're going to be talking about in the next video, which are also being used to share information across the web, like wiki spaces and blogging and forums and discussions and things like that. Interconnecting classrooms through technology is also something that we are doing. But all of these revolutionary uses of technology in the classroom are still pretty much reinventing the same. You still have the classroom, which is teacher-centered, where the teacher is disseminating the information and the students are collecting this information and using it in a lot of ways. Now, the addition of virtual labs, virtual schools, telecasting, e-books, presentations, satellite classes, Google Docs, all of these wonderful tools are amazing. But there's way more that you can do with this technology to actually transform the classroom from a different setup altogether. Instead of just adding tools to make the classroom more advanced, you can also change the classroom itself because of the technology. And that is what I actually want to talk about. The other thing that we have to think about is that technology makes things faster. It used to take forever to make, photocopy, and distribute a worksheet. Now you can quickly find worksheets online, compile them really quick, put them on Google Docs, everybody gets access to it, print them, answer straight into Google Docs document, you got the reply, grade it automatically, everything is done. There's a lot of ways that technology is transforming the classroom, but all of these things are just the beginning of what we should be using them for. So I want to be talking about on the next video about specific ways in which the classroom can change, and how we can use these tools to enhance our classroom environments. Before I do that, I want to spend 2 more seconds on the Google Docs thing, because a lot of people are excited about the prospect of this. Now, in addition to things like virtual labs and virtual classrooms and telecasting and e-book readers, one very cool application that a lot of classrooms are using is the virtual Google Doc environment. You can have one Google Doc shared by the teacher, which students work to answer together all at the same time. So the changes that one student does are automatically changed into the document, and everybody else sees that change it in a live format. So you can work in small groups, and each group is working to modify one version of the document, and then that document is automatically sent to the teacher, which can also set up the routines to automatically grade the work, and before you know it, you have instant sharing. Also, with things like that, and also other Web 2.0 tools we're going to be discussing in the next video, the students' work can be shared online for everybody to see and appreciate, which makes the students actually feel more involved. And so, the Google Doc revolution and all the applications that it has, in addition to things like Ustream and YouTube, which allows students to post their own content, and have changed the way that students do work. A lot of teachers are not only changing the classroom in the sense of receiving the information, in other words, having the telecast, the YouTube videos, the virtual environment, the e-book readers, They're also changing the way the students show their understanding. Taking quizzes for instant feedback through Google Forms or something like that. Completing worksheets on Google Docs or something like that. Sharing those things online. Letting the students create their own websites and wiki spaces. Having the students create their own videos and own streams on YouTube. Integrating the technology into actually delivering of the proof that the students have learned is the future. Especially as testing is now moving in the direction of using computerized testing, students need to be involved with using the computers to demonstrate their knowledge. And there's a lot of avenues to do that, and we're going to be talking about that in the next video. So technology has revolutionized the delivery of the information, and as well as the reception of the information in the classroom. And we need to start using as many tools of these as we can in our classroom. So start from having a website where you share your information, but also opening the avenues for students to do the same. All right? We're going to be talking about uses for technology in the Reinvented classroom in the next video series.